Hey guys, what's good, what's happening, and what's going on? Welcome to yet another one of these vlogs of mine. Today we're doing something a little bit different. The other day I said I was going to the dollar store to pick up some glassware to make soft plastics with. Dollarama didn't have what I needed, so I had to go to Walmart, and I ended up buying these Pyrex dishes here. They're a cup a piece. I have a 2-cupper in the garage, so if I ever need to do a mass amount of plastisol, I do have a bigger one. So I bought 3 of these because I bought a bunch of different amounts of different colors to make different swim baits. Which reminds me, I need to go back upstairs and grab the molds because my soft making plastic supplies arrived today. That is awesome. So we're gonna go out to the garage and we're gonna play. All right, guys, I got a bit of cleaning up to do on the bench here before we get working, like cable management and shit. Got to get these clamps out. I got the molds right here and right here. This is the Swimbait mold, and this is the 4 open pore cavity mold for worms. Just got to move some stuff around here, so I got some room to work. My clamps, I don't know which ones I'm gonna need, but we'll figure that out. And then we'll get to what's in the box, because I know that's probably what a lot of people are interested in. So I don't think I'll need these big bastards because that's a little bit intense, I'm thinking. That's probably just going to crush it. Actually, that might work just fine. Put one on each side and we're golden. I was thinking the medium ones. Just want to pinch it so the bottom cavity doesn't spill out. Get this broom out of the way. Maybe turn on. I should have brought my friggin' light with me, but I'll plug this one here in instead because it'll throw some light down here. Just got to remember to unplug it. Yeah, that doesn't throw much light, but we'll make do. We'll make do. All right, cool. All right, so let's see what we got in this box here. See if we can get you guys set up a little bit more strategic. I'm gonna get these clamps. Just gonna fire them under here into the cabinet of stuff that I gotta go through one of these days. This cabinet looks a little bit more accessible, so we'll put it down here. That's gonna be another series of the garage cleanup. Is going through this shit, seeing what we have, what we're gonna keep, and what we're gonna dump. There's a couple heavy treaded tires down there. Gotta open up for a new project. All right, so let's get you guys a little bit better situated here so you can see what the what is going on. Get that screen to turn back on so I can aim the camera properly. And of course, no unboxing would be an unboxing without, oh, did I just unplug my mic? No, we're still good. Without the old trusty Cabela's pocket knife here. Let's go ahead and, is this the top side? No, I don't know. Doesn't matter. We'll figure it out. I've been doing so much research on soft plastic making. Basically, I want to copy the recipe for my favorite bait of all times, power bait worms that I was using last year. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, it's these guys right here. They call it the General Max Scent. And the scent inside, there is no scent. What the scent is there's so much salt in these worms that it just, when it hits the water, salt apparently lets off a smell like a dying bait fish, like blood, and it drives the fish nuts and they want to get in there. So that's my battle plan. So that is my battle plan. All right, so in here, what do we got? We got some scented worm oil garlic. This here you add to your to your bag after you're done making your worms. You throw that in there. So we got some scented oil, worm oil. We have 2 easy pour lids, pretty nice. We have some Master Angler. This should be green pumpkin, the dye for the plastics, and another lid for that one. That's the color we're going to use first. We have a gallon of plastisol. This can make a lot of baits. Before I crush my plastics here, I was going to throw out those prints that I made that are heavy, but I just got through the one video and people were like, don't throw them out, just use them. Some people like heavy crankbaits. Check this out, guys. This is pretty badass. Look at the 3 crankbaits. This is with the PLA Plus, this is with standard PLA, and this is with silk PLA. Look at that. That's pretty sweet. All right, well, I got 4 crankbaits to paint now. Definitely give that a go. Probably do that while these are curing. Off camera, of course. I also bought silver, white, and black because I want to do the swim bait in silver and black. Thinking silver bottom end, black top end. Could be a stupid idea, could be a good idea. I just have, like, normally when I watch people do laminates, they're using aluminum molds, and what they're doing is they have the actual mold sitting on like a pancake. Okay, that's garbage. Put that over there. That's filler. That's good fire starter. I should keep that for the weekend. I would open the bay door right now, guys, but the snow's flying sideways. Yeah, it's snowing again. Lovely. We got some thermal gloves, hot glove mitts. There's a reason for this. We're heating this plastisol to 320 to 350 degrees Celsius. Fahrenheit. Sorry, not Celsius. I'm not trying to make freaking molten lava here. We're just trying to make some baits. Now today could turn into be a fail, so stay tuned because I have no idea how this is going to work out pouring into printed molds. So we got our thermal gloves. Please tell me they'll fit my hands. Oh, like a boss. All right, cool. Oh, I was wondering what that noise was. It's my freaking little heater. I got my little heater going, trying to get some thermals in here, but I think my propane tank's about to croak. And then I didn't realize it was 100 bags, but a bunch of these bait bags. So like if I make off a lot of baits and I decide to give some to the kids to fish with, if they like the action that I'm getting on them, they're like, oh, Adam, can you make me some? Well, I got these professional bait bags that you can heat seal. And they're tamper proof, and they're not made of the same stuff as Ziploc. They do have a Ziploc on them, but they're not made of the same stuff as Ziploc, so you can basically seal them. And they already have the pre-built in friggin' thing, so you can hang them up on a wall. So I make a bunch of baits and I can just hang them up. I can set up a hook system. If I have like 100 baits and I only want to grab 2 packs, I can just grab 2 bags off the wall, go fishing. All right, so that's the bait bags, and that's pretty much all I bought. So that's pretty sweet. Yeah, I mentioned I had another Pyrex. I got this one here. It's a 2-cupper, but she's filthy. I got to bring her in the house and clean her up. Now this microwave is also filthy. You've seen that. She looks pretty grody inside. Okay, when that heater dies, I'm going to plug in the big propane tank to it. Okay, so first step is we need to open this up. Looks like they went to friggin' town on it with a twist tie. That's always a good time. Guess they didn't want it to leak. So that's the easy stretch one. Don't know what the heck that means. Now that I got all this garbage out of the way, let me grab all this garbage over here and throw it where it belongs, in the garbage, like so. And this is gonna need a vigorous shaking. This is Angler Masters Plastisol. Like I said, it's the easy stretch. It is a sinking blend. First thing I wanna do though is I just want to get this tape off of it. Holy crap, did they use enough? All right, more garbage for the garbage can. While I'm going there, let's grab some more garbage here. So this is how this is gonna work. I'm gonna shake this up a bunch, make sure that lid's on good and tight. I wonder if this is counting as steps. A little ASMR for you guys. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna pour a simple cup of it. I'm gonna pour the worms first before I do the swim bait. I should do like World's Worst Fishing and load a bunch of friggin' stickers on my microwave. All right, we got this mixed up. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab a cup of it. That should be good. So that's 1 cup of Plastisol. Put that over here for now. And we need to nuke it for 2 minutes. Come over here, pop open El Dirte. Let's see if we can fire up this microwave without blowing a fuse. So far, so good. So far, so good. Now you remembered when I put it in the microwave, it was milky, and coming out of the microwave, it's still kind of milky. Let's see what temperature we're at. We're at 240 Fahrenheit. Oh, there you go, 240 Fahrenheit. 239 Fahrenheit. I'm just gonna mix it up a bit because it could be a little less on the bottom. Maybe this stuff doesn't turn pure clear. Definitely smells like plastic though. All right, we're at 250, I'm gonna blast it for another minute. Okay, it's a lot clearer now, but it's still not quite there. Now all the gloop stayed on the top, so it needs a good mixing. She's starting to blend though. See all the sludge is on the top. Maybe I didn't shake up my jug enough. What temperature are we at? 274. We're getting there. But she's becoming like Jello. I definitely did not shake up that jug enough because she's starting to solidify in the friggin' container. All right, like I said, we're gonna have some trial and errors with this, just like 3D printing, just like everything else I do. She's gonna go back in the nuker for another minute. Actually, we'll reset. Yeah, we'll do another minute. While that's doing that, I'm gonna shake the shit out of this now that we got some space in there. So the problem is as it's just sitting there, it separates because it sat for a while in their shop probably. It really needed to be agitated more than I did. All right, let's see what that did. Well, it's back to liquid form. That's promising. A lot of bubbles in it though. What are we at for temperature? 371 degrees. Okay, let's go with our colors. So like I said, I'm just gonna do green pumpkin. I'm just gonna add a couple drops here to see what it does. Not too much. That's a nice green pumpkin color. I know I bought those gloves and I'm not even wearing them. Aren't I a rebel? Until I burn myself really bad and then I'll regret my decisions. All right, that's a beautiful green pumpkin. I also bought some Dollarama sparkles. Thought about throwing some of them in, but I'm just gonna do this first pour straight up. I'm not sure how the hell I'm gonna do this. I'm just gonna pour and hope for the best. That pour there was horrible. That's probably gonna need some cleaning. All right, got them poured. You know what? Maybe I'll make one swim bait like this just to see how it turns out. Okay, so I over poured on the back end on the swim bait. That's going to take some practice. I'm just going to put this back in the microwave just because it's hot in there. I'm going to let these cure and then we'll come back and check on them. All right, so we'll let those cure and then we'll come back and we'll demold them. Sounds like a plan? I think so. All right, guys, I already checked out this here swim bait, and because it's so cold out here, it's doing this thing where you can see it kind of sunk in. So I'm just gonna go ahead and demold this one right now and see how it turned. Actually, that turned out pretty damn good, minus all the flashing, but other than that, she turned out pretty dang good. You know, if I would have filled it in right, like it's kind of bad because of the flashing, but that looks like a little gummy bear. Not too bad. But that's going back in the mix. We'll try that mold again. The mold didn't get warped from the heat. That's what's nice, is you can just remelt these if they don't work out, so you don't really lose any material. Now this one here, I'm a little curious about how these things would have turned out. Actually, turned out pretty damn saucy. I do say so myself. I do say that's a nice looking freaking worm right there. I'd fish that. I'd totally fish that. Minus all the damn flashing on it, but oh yeah, I gotta get a water bath out here. I'll be right back. All right, so I grabbed the container here of water. Just gonna sit it back here on the bench. And as I pull these worms, take all the flashing off, put it back in the container. I'm just gonna throw them in. Let's see how this one looks. And the mold didn't even take any damage. There's a guy on YouTube who's like so advocate 3D resin printing and just despises everything PLA. And he's all like, you cannot PLA print a mold, it will not work. And then I saw people on Thingiverse making molds for PLA printers, totally saying the opposite. Just make sure your infill's set to this and this is set to that, and you can totally get away with 3D printing. Like, it's got a little bit of nonsense on it, but all in all, that would wiggle wobble in the water. You could even friggin' wacky rig this. She would dance and dance and dance all day, and dance and dance and dance all day, and dance and dance and dance all day, and dance, dance, dance. It's not the exact green I'm looking for. I'm looking for a darker green, but I'm just gonna make a bunch in this color and then move on to another color, because that's pretty sweet. And this will save me so much money on going to the bait shops. I might print off a couple more of these worm molds. I kind of like these open pore worm molds. They're pretty badass. I almost put the friggin' flashing in the curing water. And just so you know, that's just cold water from the tap, nothing special. I'm not going out and buying friggin' distilled water or anything to do this. You kidding me? I'm making them for myself, not for anybody else. A little bit of chlorine in the water system won't hurt the fish swim in it, for crying out loud. Like, yeah, that's not a bad looking worm. Run your Texas rig right through the nose, out the back, loop it through, and then just doop, 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 doop. Hey, I don't know how warm this is. Okay, it's not warm at all. Let's go ahead and nuke it for another minute. We'll get it up to temperature and see what we do. All right. We melted that all down. I might add a little bit more of that green to it. I'm just gonna give it a quick stir here. See where we're sitting. Get all that shit off the sidewalls. Like I said, get all that shit off the sidewalls. Get it into the plastics. Melt every last ounce of this right down. Put it in for another 30 seconds to get her up to temperature, and then everything's together. This is fun. I'm making baits. I'm like the Guggen squad, except for they're better. We're only at 3:30. I'm gonna put it in for 45 more seconds. Get her right up there. And literally, anybody could do this. Like, these are custom worm molds that I just made on a 3D printer. And lo and behold, they can accept plastisol. Unlike that guy who said that they won't. Okay, that's 396 degrees Fahrenheit. That's a little bit too warm. Let's just stir some of that heat out of it. Maybe get some of the sidewall goop off and get it down in there so it can melt in. Now, obviously, the Guggen squad doesn't do what I'm doing right now. They got guys to manufacture their baits because the amount of baits they roll out daily is ridiculous compared to the 8 I'm producing in the past hour. They just come up with these wacky designs and then put them into fruition. All right, so let's go ahead and pour some more worms. I'm gonna start from this side first. Not that steady with the measuring cup yet. And I'm probably totally blocking the shot with my bonker head. Anybody really young, you don't know who Bonker is. He was the mascot for the TurboGrafx 16. His special move was headbutting things. A lot of people thought that was Mario's special move, was he'd headbutt blocks. They didn't realize he'd raise his fist and straight uppercut them. That last one was an overpour. Whoops. And I got the Swimbait mold going again, so we're going to try that one more time. This time I'm going to start at the tail and work my way forward. If I can stay on target. I can't stay on target. Oh God. Well, that's going to have some serious flashing to deal with. I changed up the clamps on it to use the smaller clamps. I'll make sure I got enough in there. More is better than less. That might give it a neat back. All right, we'll let this cure and come back and check it out. All right, guys, let's go ahead and demold. Now the worm's kind of sunk a bit. I should have added more plastisol to this first worm because I have no idea how the heck I'm going to get him out of there. I may have to use my pocket knife to pry him out. If I can't get him to maneuver his ass out. There he goes. Yeah, this first worm's going back in the batch. He didn't quite turn out. It's too cold out here, that's the problem. So it shrinks, eh? So we'll throw him back in the cup. I don't know why I put it in the microwave. So he'll go back in the cup and become molten. Same with this second worm, he didn't quite turn out. I think the only one that really turned out was this last one. This one here turned out the best. It's even got some leech flaring on it. Peel that flaring off. Flashing, flaring, whatever. So my next plan is, now that I know that plastisol can handle this, I need to get an injector and make an injected worm mold. So I can just squeeze plastisol into it and get conformed worms. Get them to actually look like the proper Senko, if you will, the Gary Yatamoto Senko. I didn't realize why those Gary Yatamoto Senkos are so good. So I was watching World's Worst Fishing about salt, adding regular salt to your baits. And what it does is it makes it more, it doesn't make it as floppy, but it also makes it heavier so it sinks harder. But those, that one's not too bad. I could fish that. It doesn't have a lot of flare. I'm gonna toss that in the bucket. We got 6 worms right now. Let's see how bad this one is. Yeah, this guy's going back in the... But those Gary Yatamoto worms, he sat there and he stretched one out and then he rubbed it and just salt flew everywhere. That's how they make them so tantalizing for fish, because they literally cover them in salt. Now, when you fill a bait with salt, which we're gonna do, it actually makes them more brittle. That's why last year when I was fishing those power baits, I was only good for 1, maybe 2 bass per power bait. But then when I was fishing the Dollarama lures, which are literally made exactly how I'm doing this, just straight plastisol, no additives, no nothing. They didn't even add scent to the bag. They just friggin', here's your bait, have a nice day, you know? So that's one thing I'm happy about with this bait, is it demolds nicely. And that's a nice looking freaking swim bait right there. Look at that. That's a nice looking friggin' minus the flashing on top, but like whatever, you know, we can just peel that off. We can just tailor that up. Get a pair of scissors, a little haircut. But that's totally a decent little swim bait for catching whatever with, whatever wants to eat it. Put a jig through the nose or put a wide-angled hook on it, sail it out, swim it back, and hope something wants to destroy it. Well, this is a fun hobby. I like doing this. I like learning new things. It's fun. And it gives me something to fish with, so I'm not going to Canadian Tire and blowing a bunch of money on power bait. Like, that's a decent little swim bait. Look at that guy. He's cute. I need to take a picture. I need to show the boys. Be like, look what Skivinz made. His name's Edward. A fish will eat him. Hopefully. Throw him in there too. All right. I'm going to pour a bunch more, and I'll talk to you guys in a bit. All right, guys, I ran that full cup of plastisol minus the goop in the bottom here. It's not going to come out. And we ended up with a huge amount of worms. Look at them. How many did we get? I don't know. Let's count. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 worms and 1 swim bait. That's a pretty good run. Sweet. So I'm going to go ahead and bag these. I'm going to put them all in the same bag because 18 worms in 1 bag should be okay. Should be doable. I'm just going to set them on here. I don't really want to touch them on the desk because it's covered in shit. So I'm just going to put them back in the water. Open up the bag here. We'll go ahead and throw all these worms, including the swim bait, into the same bag from bath to bag. And just to keep them from sticking together, I'm going to throw some of this garlic worm oil right into the bag here. Not a lot of it. You don't need a lot, just enough. Of course, I probably should have dried them off first before I did this, and there is my first run of, I forgot what the heck we were going to call this worm. There's a lot of water in there, and there is my first run of my worms. 18 worms and 1 swim bait. Sweet. I'm going to have to make some more of those lure molds. Definitely going to have to make some more of these swim bait molds. I have to print off a bunch of those. That'll be awesome. All right. We made some worms. So yeah, I literally decided to do the last batch on my own without the camera rolling for the key reason that I wanted to just pour worms and listen to music. That's what I've been wanting to do ever since I ordered this kit. I was like, this could be a fun weekend. Just come out here with a couple brews and make some bait so that when opener happens, we can go fishing. But guess what I found out today? Okay. Do you guys remember that video I posted back in 2020 of catfishing when we went down to this place called Lavaz River? I've been there multiple times before that. I tested out one of these baits. I have this bait over here. I tested this bait out here there. Remember this thing? Flappy tail with the single treble. Didn't catch shit on it. Then I went fishing with the boys the one night. Then I caught something, but it totally tangled the wire around the treble hook. And I never bothered untangling. I just kind of tossed this thing to the side and said I quit. But that's when I fished this thing here and I caught a walleye. But not at Lavaz. Lavaz, I caught nothing. It turns out from where the grass line ends at the boat launch over is not Lake Nipissing. And we can totally go fish there whenever the hell we want. And I decided something else. This golden crankbait, I'm not even going to paint it. I'm going to send it out exactly how it is and see how the action is. So we got a crankbait to test. We have a whopper plopper to test and a jerkbait to test. Plus we got some homemade bait to test. We got a lot of shit to test. So one of these days we're gonna head down to the lake. We're gonna give her a good freaking test and that should be a fun time. On top of that, we got the telescopic rod to test. So that'll be awesome. I think so anyway. I'm hoping so. Frig, I hope so. So yeah, stay tuned guys. Plenty of cool shit coming up. Still got some more stuff we wanna do to the Trans Am. We need to diagnose and fix the power drain problem because that's pissing me right off. I want to be able to go out there and start it right away, not go to start it and be like, oh, it doesn't have any power in the battery, got to charge it again. You know, I don't want to be doing that. I know a lot of you are saying, Adam, you need to replace that battery. You've killed it way too many times, and you're right, but I want to get down to the problem first, solve that before I go putting money into a new battery because the car's just going to kill the new battery. So that's kind of pointless. And a lot of you are probably saying, well, why don't you put a battery maintainer on it? No, I like the idea of finding the problem and resolving it so we don't have the problem, because I never had that problem, then I had that problem. So something obviously went south. We got to find out what it is and get down to the root of it. So that is where a multimeter is going to come in hand. We're going to do an amperage check on the system. I'm going to run it between the ground of the battery and the ground terminal. And that way there we can see how much amperage is coming out of the battery and then figure out what fuse we pull makes it stop. And then when we pull that fuse, we'll go, okay, why is that system drawing so much power that it shouldn't be drawing from? We'll get down to the root of it. We're gonna fix that car. We're gonna get that car running ballin' again. So anyway, guys, on that note, thanks for coming out to the bait shop. That was a freaking fun time. I had a blast. I really had a blast. Like I understand now why like Nate and World's Worst and all them make these baits. It's fun to produce your own shit. It's even funner when it works. So I guess we'll have to find out if it actually works. I might pour some more some other day. For now, 18 worms and 1 swim bait. That's a lot of shit. So that's going to be a good afternoon of fishing for sure. On top of what I already have in my tackle bag and those lures over there. So on that note, guys, I'm going to go ahead and shut her down here. So thanks for coming out. Hopefully you enjoyed today's video. If you did, click that like button. Any questions, comments, concerns, down below they go. And until next time, guys, live it to win it. Peace the frig out. Sit, stupid, sit. Good dog.